Who is a principal by direct participation? The answer to this question can be found in Article 17, Paragraph 1, in relation to Article 8 of the Revised Penal Code as amended. Now, going back to the question, who is a principal by direct participation? A principal by direct participation is one who personally takes part in the commission of the crime. Examples: X stabbed Y, injuring him. X shot Y, killing him. X burned the house of Y. X stole the cell phone of Y. Here, there is no question that X is a principal by direct participation. In the above examples, not only was X present at the scene of the crime, he personally took part in the execution thereof. Now, there is no problem if only one person executes the criminal act, because that person alone is the principal by direct participation. What if there are two or more persons who personally execute the crime? Are all of them to be considered as principals by direct participation? The answer is, it depends. If there was conspiracy by prior agreement and all of them appeared at the scene of the crime, even if only one person personally executed the crime while the other merely stood by and watched, then both of them will be regarded as principals by direct participation. For example, X and Y agreed and decided to kill Z. On the day agreed upon, X and Y went to Z's place. Upon seeing Z come out of his house, X shot Z while Y just stood by and watched. Here, because there was conspiracy by prior agreement, X and Y will both be liable as co-principals by direct participation regardless of the degree of Y's participation in the crime. Their liability becomes collective, meaning Y is deemed equally responsible for the act of X, even if Y, like what I said, just stood by and watched as X shot upon Z. Here is another example. X and Y agreed and decided to kill Z. On the day agreed upon, only X appeared and killed Z. Y was nowhere to be found. Here, even if there was conspiracy by prior agreement between X and Y, if Y does not appear at the scene of the crime, he will not be criminally liable because, number one, his non-appearance is considered as a desistance which is encouraged, and mere conspiracy is not a crime unless the law specially provides a penalty for it. Take note that in conspiracy by prior agreement, it is necessary that a co-conspirator should have performed an overt act as a direct or indirect contribution in the execution of the crime agreed upon. Thus, his presence is necessary. Such overt act may consist of his active cooperation in the actual commission of the crime itself, or exerting moral ascendancy over the other conspirators, or moral assistance to his co-conspirators by being present at the scene of the crime. Question: is there an exception where a conspirator need not be present at the scene of the crime? The answer is yes. The mastermind or the person who induced the others to execute the crime need not be present at the scene of the crime. That is why he induces others to commit the crime so that he would just remain in the background. His inducement is his criminal act. On the other hand, if there was implied conspiracy, it is necessary that each of the conspirators participate in the commission of the crime. Mere presence or approval of the crime will not make the alleged conspirator liable. In other words, if conspiracy is instantaneous or spur of the moment, if the person alleged to be a conspirator did not actually participate at the scene of the crime, it shows that he had no intent to join in the commission of the crime itself. What then is implied conspiracy? It is one that is deduced from the mode and manner in which the offense was committed. The concerted acts of the parties in the commission of the crime to achieve the same objective signify conspiracy. Here, the agreement to pursue a common design and purpose is instantaneous. For example, X held the victim from behind so he could not defend himself or escape. Y thereafter stabbed the victim several times, causing his death. Here, even if there was no proof of express conspiracy or conspiracy by prior agreement, the act of X in holding the victim from behind immediately before the latter was stabbed by Y constitutes a positive and overt act towards the realization of a common criminal intent. And what is that common criminal intent? The intent to kill the victim. Although the intent here may be classified as instantaneous. The act was impulsively done on the spur of the moment. It sprang from the turn of events, thereby uniting the criminal design of Y immediately before the commission of the offense. This is known as implied conspiracy, as ruled in the case of Sobayco versus Sandigan Bayan, circa 1996. If there was no conspiracy, then each of the offenders is liable only for the act performed by him. For example, X engaged in a heated argument with A, who was with his friends B and C inside a videoke bar. When X was about to go to the restroom to pee, A went after X and slapped him. A commotion then ensued. B, who saw his friend A being choked by X, joined in the fray and punched X. C followed suit by breaking the beer bottle he was holding and used it in stabbing X several times. X died as a result. In the example above, was there conspiracy? The answer is no. There was neither express nor implied conspiracy. There is no indication that A and B participated in the criminal resolution of C to kill X. The act of A in slapping X, as well as the act of B in punching X, are separate individual acts which did not tend directly or indirectly to the realization of a common criminal intent. Because, as I said, it was only C who had the intent to kill X by stabbing X with a broken beer bottle.